Welcome to the Veterans History Project. I'm United States Representative Kathy Castor. My congressional office and I have organized the Veterans History Project to capture oral histories of veterans from the Tampa Bay area and to ensure that we memorialize the stories of the greatest generation and beyond. These stories of honor, service, and sacrifice will be preserved in the Library of Congress for generations to come. If you know a veteran whose story should be told, please contact my office. Now join me in saluting another proud veteran from our Tampa Bay community. And to all veterans, thank you for your service and sacrifice.
Born October the 14th, 1921, in Marianna, Florida. My grandfather was a former slave. He was picked up at 8 years old and went on to become the first African-American or black lawyer in Jackson County. His name was Armstrong Purdy. The law, they say back in those days, you didn't have blacks. You couldn't go to law, take no law school, but he was, sometimes you know it ain't what you know, is who you know.
Right.
So my grandfather.
Right.
Man, this is great. I tell you what, I tell this story so much. I remember so good because I was raised by my grandparents. I have no brothers, no sisters. Well, the war broke out in 1941. 1941. I was born October 14, 1921. The war broke out in 1941. Well, they built an air base in Marianna. It was called Marianna Army Air Base. All right, I was a young fella, and I was working in different places in Marianna called a Pilic, a Parisian. It was a dry goods store for blacks, for everybody, because most people there was blacks after slavery. And Parisian, then the A&P food store. In those days, you weigh up rice, meal, flour, and stuff like that, you know, and bananas, had all that stuff in A&P. And after the A&P, they built the air base. And I wanted to get a job at the air base. And I didn't have I had to have a Social Security card. Well, what was your father's name? I said, I don't know. He said, well, I got to know who your father was before we give you a card. So I go back and tell my, ask my mother, I said, Bay, I call my mother Bay. What was my father? She said, who wants to know? I said, uh-oh. I done struck a nerve. I said, Bay, I won't be able to get a Social Security card unless I know who my father was. She said, your papa was his name? Willie Johnson. So I go back down to the court. So we in between and all that. Went back down to the courthouse and told them that who my father was. They said, you'll have to go under the name of my name in Marianna. My name was Man Purdy. Man Purdy. That was my grandfather's name. I had to go take that name because he after he became who he was, he got rid of his slave name, which was Wardell, and he changed his name to Purdy. My mother told me years later, she says, you don't know where Papa got that name from, but his name is Armstrong Purdy. Now that's in the history book. That's in the book. His picture's in the book. Okay. The history book. Right. This is not a little book like this. This is a history book like this. I go back down and I go to the air base and I get the job. I worked in the air base, Marianna Army Air Base. I was a young fella. For 2 years. I was too young to be drafted.
Right.
I worked at the air base for 2 years until I got old enough to be drafted. And I was drafted. And from there, let me say this now, on my honorable discharge, it says, honorable Social Security number, unknown.
Well.
Unknown. It was on my discharge, unknown. See those tears in my eyes? Yeah. Those are tears of joy. I tell this story A lot of people get chill bumps and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Tears. I hate that. Little fella out at the barbershop telling the story, talking. And this little fella, he says, Mr. Mannion, why are you crying? I said, young man, those are tears of joy. And because everything that's happened to me has been so good. These 94 years that I've lived have been so good to me, it's unbelievable. I've never seen the backside of a jail. Never had no runner with the law riding or walking. Young or old, black or white, all of them. Never had no downtown in Tampa. You can go down there and get my record, and you will find nothing there, Emanuel P. Johnson, but he lived in Progress Village. Honorary mayor and the historian of Progress Village. That's there. You going to the Army? I said, yeah, yeah, I'm going to the Army. Ain't you going? He said, no, I ain't going. I said, well, where you going? I ain't going to no Army. I said, you're going to jail. So during that time, you know, what they called the jail was then was draft dodgers.
Right.
If you didn't go to the Army, you was a draft dodger.
Okay.
Now, man, Porter wasn't going to be no draft dodger. I wanted to go in the Navy, but during that time, blacks
Right.
from Mariana, you couldn't get in the Navy.
Okay.
So I had to go where they sent me. So
Right.
when they did call me, I went to, they put me in the quartermaster.
Okay.
They went on and said, well, the quartermaster is, and we would build the things for the soldiers to fight and everything. Just built, we were the builders. Quartermaster built that thing, you know.
Okay.
If you wanted to go somewhere, the soldiers had to go somewhere to fight or do something. Quartermaster, we done been there and paved the way.
Okay.
We've been there. Well, I thought maybe they might put me, they go put me in the quartermaster. I knew then it'd be hard, it'd be tough. They told me, but the quartermaster was one of the toughest units in the Army, you know, because we built things, made bridges and all that stuff. So I was prepared, I didn't care.
Okay.
I didn't care and they said, when they said you had to go, if you're black and breathing, you had to go. Truck driving was from truck drivers from 10-ton diesel, semi-tractor and trailer. Mm-hmm. That's what I done. They didn't know where I was going. Mm-hmm. And like you have orange trees in Florida, they have apple trees in Georgia. I mean, in Germany, yeah. Apple trees. You're gonna go down on a truck, you pull an apple off the tree. Like you pull oranges off, and that's the way it was in Germany. And that after the war, but the rest of it, you know, but the rest of the other time was us hauling stuff, moving things, moving people, bodying people. So much. But like I said, they sent me to Germany. I thought I was going to have to go to war. But they put me in a place where I was just truck driver. And that was truck driving, huge, yeah. And I learned how to, all these places to learn how to drive a truck. Like I said, I could drive anything Sam had other than a tank. When they called my name, Emanuel P. Johnson, I was on guard. They said, you're going home. That's when I asked this Fräulein if she'd take my picture, she did. So you can write about history, you can read about history. But when you lived history, you can talk about it. And I have lived the history of my life from Mariana to Germany, from Germany back to Mariana to Tampa, and Tampa to Progress Village.